The starry expanse of the Milky Way was a quiet void as the Nova Venture, a transport ship carrying Troop 498 of the Galactic Girl Scouts, floated on autopilot. The girls had just completed a planetary cleanup mission on the dusty world of Zirion 5 and were heading home. But the quiet voyage turned into chaos when their ship was ambushed by a fleet of alien vessels. The attackers were the Arzok, an insectoid species infamous for their predatory tactics. They boarded the ship with brutal efficiency, their spindly legs clacking against the steel floors. Despite the girls' attempts to barricade themselves in the mess hall, the Arzok overpowered them, hauling the troop onto their own ship as prisoners. Life in the hive. The Arzok vessel was a terrifying labyrinth of bioluminescent tunnels and sticky, resin-coated chambers. The girls were confined to a damp cavern, lit only by a faint green glow emanating from the walls. The Arzok made it clear they were to be workers, tending to alien eggs and cleaning the hive. Escape seemed impossible, but the worst was yet to come. The rations they'd packed for their journey were confiscated, and the Arzok offered no food to their captives. Hunger gnawed at the girls, and it wasn't long before they began to weaken. "We can't survive like this," muttered Emily, the troop leader, a 14-year-old with a fierce spirit. "If they think we're just going to sit here and starve, they've underestimated us." The turning point. As hunger intensified, so did the girls' ingenuity. Emily remembered the troop's motto: adapt, overcome, prevail. A plan began to form. One of the younger scouts, Lila, discovered that the Arzok eggs they were tasked with cleaning emitted a sugary scent when exposed to heat. It reminded her of the honey sap taffy they'd made back on Earth. If they could just extract the sugars, they might have something edible. Using their badges, multi-tool devices with built-in heating functions, the girls began secretly caramelizing the egg secretions during their shifts. They fashioned small makeshift stoves from scraps they found in the hive and carefully hid their operations from their captors. Within days, they had created a sweet, protein-rich substance they called alien caramel, fueling the rebellion. The alien caramel didn't just keep the girls alive, it made them stronger. The nutrient-dense food gave them the energy they needed to strategize and work together. Emily led her troop in covertly sabotaging the hive. They rigged the hive's ventilation system to emit noxious smoke, forcing the Arzok to retreat to higher chambers. Meanwhile, the girls fashioned crude weapons from broken resin shards and sharpened tools. They mapped out the hive's layout, identifying key structural weaknesses. The uprising. The rebellion began during the hive's sleep cycle. Armed with their makeshift weapons and fueled by weeks of alien caramel, the girls struck. They targeted the queen's chamber, knowing that without her, the hive would fall into disarray. The Arzok were caught off guard by the ferocity of the attack. The girls moved like a coordinated unit, their training in teamwork and problem-solving giving them the upper hand. Emily and a few of the older scouts confronted the queen herself, a towering, grotesque creature with mandibles the size of swords. "On my count," Emily whispered. They hurled their remaining caramel into the queen's mouth, choking her. Disoriented and enraged, the queen stumbled, crashing into one of the hive's structural supports. The chamber began to collapse. "Run!" Emily shouted, and the girls sprinted toward the escape pods they had discovered during their sabotage efforts. Freedom! The girls launched the escape pod just as the Arzok hive ship disintegrated in a fiery explosion. Drifting in space, they were eventually rescued by an Earth Federation patrol. Back on Earth, Troop 498 became legends. Their story inspired countless others, and their alien caramel recipe became a galactic sensation, marketed as a high-energy snack for space explorers. "Never underestimate the power of a hungry Girl Scout," Emily said during a press conference, grinning at her troop. They had faced the galaxy's worst and come out stronger, together.